Plane. The new model has not been approved by regulators. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will likely provide some hints about how the Fed sees the economy and what its next steps could very well be. That's coming up in a high-profile speech this Friday in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Federal Reserve officials have said they're increasingly confident that they've nearly tamed inflation. Now it's the health of the job market that's starting to draw their concern. With inflation cooling toward its 2% target, the pace of hiring slowing, and the unemployment rate edging up, the Fed is poised to cut its benchmark interest rate next month from its 23-year high. How fast it may cut rates after that, though, will be determined mainly by whether employers keep hiring.
That is correspondent Jeremy House reporting. On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow is up 41 points. S&P 500 is ahead nearly 20. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The latest news.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
That's not what middle America is.
I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did.
It's about policy. It's not about her.
The media misses Trump.
I'm speaking to you on phones, on radio, on television. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. When you've got something to say, be heard loud and clear.
If they'll just do what they were voted in to do.
This party needs to get a backbone. They need to get some spine.
Join the conversation. St. Louis's place to talk.
The Democrats and the Republicans can give us all the lip service they want, but what they need to do is take action today.
101.9 and 94.1.
You know, you have to take a stand sometimes.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Little cloud cover will give way to some sunshine by this afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 70s. Nice and cool and dry. Skies clear out this afternoon and into tonight. Morning lows tomorrow in the 50s and a high temperature in the low 80s. Then the heat and the humidity build back up as we head into the weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Always be clear where you get your conservative talk.
The St. Louis Business Journal is now reporting that liberal billionaire George Soros is the largest shareholder of Odyssey,
the parent company of KMOX and 97.1 Talk.
Soros' maneuver raises critical questions about the future of media ownership and influence.
Money and attention is power. And when he has the money and he controls what's on the radio stations, he's going to be able to control the minds, potentially hundreds of millions of Americans.
St. Louis's trusted source and number one
For conservative talk.
This is News Talk STL. This hour of Colombo Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday afternoon, another packed show here on Colombo and Company on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo in studio here we're starting out with a packed room. We've got producer Emily, we've got producer Cheyenne, and we've got the great Larry Connors in the studio with us to start the show today.
Let's play poker. We're gonna have us to go do it.
Let's do it. You're still playing pretty regularly, right?
Yes,
is
sir.
that
I
where-
do. Yeah.
I definitely, it's been a while.
Well, let's play.
I went through a pretty long, years long phase of playing.
Yeah.
Not probably as at the level that you and Vic play at, especially you. But I did get into it pretty good for a while there, and I have felt the pull
Yeah.
to come back. Yeah, so maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a poker night. Maybe we should have a News Talk STL poker night.
That'd be a great idea.
Right?
Do it for charity or something. Yeah.
Yeah. People can they can bid they can have you as like their advisor. You know.
Oh, I don't think they'd like that. I've got other players that are a lot better than I am.
But I've heard that you're pretty good.
I have a good poker face.
There you go. There you go. I have a good face for radio.
Yeah. I didn't say that, Tony.
So Larry's here with us, obviously, to start the show, but specifically because, there's a lot to talk about. We've got 2 days of the DNC behind us. We've got 2 more days left. And, of course, these will be big ones, specifically tomorrow when Kamala Harris speaks and officially accepts the nomination. There's some other things happening as well that we will get into as we go through the day-to-day, the Trump campaign. I don't know if you saw this, Larry, and I don't know if we'll get into this story right now, but it's really funny. First of all, what do you make of Kamala Harris not talking to the media now for? It's got to be closing in on 30 days.
And they're letting it go. They're letting it go, and they shouldn't. They should be holding their feet to the fire, literally. And after this convention, what's going to be an excuse then? I mean, you just can't do that. I mean, if Trump in fact, let's say Trump plays the same game, not talking to the media at all. Yeah. What happens?
Yeah,
nothing.
Remember when he temporarily suspended the daily press briefing,
right,
and it was multiple times a week, but not necessarily every day.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump, when he was president, he spoke to the media every day, if not multiple times a day,
extemporaneously,
from the
all
helicopter,
the time.
from the airport, from wherever he was.
He was totally accessible.
But we know what happens when Donald Trump does something like this or does anything with the media, because we saw it happen when he was president. If Donald Trump was the one dodging the media for a month, for nearly 30 days, whatever the number is now, it would be that he is trying to, he's not being transparent. He's hiding from the press. He's fearful.
Yeah.
He's anti, he's against a free, fair press in the United States, because that's what we heard when he was president. When he
they'll sell any lie they can. The thing that gets me about last night, Obama comes to give the keynote speech, the endorsement. Kamala isn't there. She goes out. She's not in Chicago. She goes on a campaign. This has all been scheduled. Now, I would think someone should have said, you need to be there the very night he's there to endorse you. You can walk him out. You can walk out afterwards. You should be seen with him. She was not there at all.
This was on her schedule for 4 years.
Well, absolutely.
Because even if Joe Biden doesn't step down, she's vice president of the United States. She would be at the convention.
She should be there, and I still say there's going to be an October surprise that might include that they decide, Joe, you might as well just step out and let her become president before the election.
That's interesting.
So then she's running as an incumbent as President Harris.
Right. So, you know what? I want to explore that, because we've talked a lot about that on this show, but to go back to her not talking to the media since she became the nominee for the Democratic Party, the Queen. Yeah. And she hasn't talked to the media. She hasn't even created an official website with her policies on it.
Trump did.
That's what I was going to
Good.
So you did see it. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So today, the Trump campaign released a Kamala Harris presidential website with all of her policies on it. And it's called Kamala 2024policies.com. You can go see it yourself.
There are a lot of good things on there, right?
Right. Yes.
All bad for our nation.
All bad for our
and in
nation.
the end, we die.
But somebody's, but you know what? If she's not going to put out her policies, then somebody will. Dig into that story a little bit later on in the show, and we'll read some parts of that website. But I'm glad you brought that up. I've talked about this a lot. We just talked about it again yesterday with Susie Moore from Red State about the idea of, does Kamala Harris become president before January? On Monday, Joe Biden at the DNC once again doubled down and said that he's got 5 months left and he's got a lot of work to do and he's not going anywhere.
And you were listening to a condemned man.
Correct. Who also said he wasn't stepping out of the race and had people on his campaign staff still working for him 30 minutes before he announced to the world that he was stepping down. So, anything can change in a heartbeat. But, that's the idea. I agree with you. I think that there's a very good chance that he does step down, but it's all about timing and it's all about strategy. Here's what I think, Larry, and I want to get your thoughts. I believe that there is some advantage. There's some gravitas to being president on election day. So it would be strategically beneficial to make Kamala Harris president when people are voting in November. The only thing that could nullify that gravitas and that advantage is if she's president and something bad happens or she does something dumb, makes, the war in the Middle East gets worse, or there's a big, situation crisis at the border that makes national headlines. Now, all of a sudden she's president, but she's president with a record, and Donald Trump and the Republicans can say, look at this. She's only been president for 2 weeks and already this has happened. So you got to be careful you put her in there ahead of the election, so she has that sort of, that gravitas going for her, but not too much before the election, because you don't want her to be exposed for how bad of a president. I don't want her
in a single day. Gordon G. Chang, an expert on China, said as soon as if she wins or she gets in, they will test her immediately. China will step up, so will others. I have it on I think I announced it on my program. I want to say 2 weeks ago that there will be the October surprise will be one, Walls has become such an albatross around her neck. Serial liar Walls will be addressing the convention tonight. See how many lies he tells tonight. And then her, as you pointed out, tomorrow. But either he will be ditched and she'll go back to Shapiro. She was always going to name Shapiro. You don't hold it in the state of a governor that you're not going to put up there. But people got to her from the progressive left and said, if you pick him, we'll walk away from you. And you need the Hamas Palestinian support. And so she changed it.
You need the terrorists.
That's exactly. That's what it came down to. That's what it came down to. And then if that happens, the fact that they will make a decision, maybe late September, still be an October surprise.
So that's what I wanted to. So do you what's your gut feeling?
I'm on record.
Is she president when?
I'm on record.
Yeah.
I put it. I marked it down. I think it's in the commentary and the day before on the air. So I'm on record. It can all go south, but I still think they don't have anything to run on. They got to do something to shake up the electorate more. I agree with you. If she gets in and then something major happens, that's going to be on her.
Yeah.
But she will have achieved being the first black president, or first black woman president, or first black Asian woman president, however you want to identify it.
Woman,
and so she will have done it even if she doesn't win the election.
Overall.
If she doesn't win the election. Yeah. And Hillary is fuming.
Yeah.
Hillary is fuming.
And what's interesting is in that case, if Donald Trump were to then win, he would be 48 instead of 47, which everybody is already. Now you got to change everything.
Yeah,
now you got
do it again.
You got to order
that
all
will look
stationery.
interesting in the
I know,
history
right?
book.
It really will.
A footnote in the history book.
It really will. But I agree with you that if it's going to happen, it will be in October. It will be, I would say mid-October, 3-4 weeks at the most before the election. And, so that she's installed, she is president on election day, but doesn't have time to mess it up. Now, if she's not, if they don't do this by election day, then I think Joe Biden and just banning some, very legitimate health issue or something, then I think he does stay through January, because I think the advantage strategically is to put her in before.
Well, now,
the
you know,
election.
if she does get in this way, she will have the right to pick her vice president. And
That is correct.
But it needs to be approved by both houses, Congress, 3/4 vote in each house, I believe. So I'm not sure how that would go down with Republicans still holding the House. But that's the other part of this election. Folks forget the House and Senate are critical, not just the White House, but we have to maintain the control in the House, and we got to gain leadership in the Senate. So there's a lot at stake this election.
We got a couple minutes left here with Larry Connors. We're going to get Missouri Senator Nick Schroer in the conversation here in just about 5 minutes, and we'll continue on with him. Previewing tonight, you mentioned Tim Walz is going to speak. I can't. I just can't envision that.
He's going to come out as just a good old farm boy, and
Yeah.
you know, and again, fill them with lies and laughter, jokes. It'll be an oversized. Let me see the best way to put it without being really crude about it. And I mean, people have weight
Cringy.
issues. I
It'll
have
be
a weight
cringy.
issue. I need to lose some weight too. But the bottom line is, it will be an oversized Will Rogers without the
Yes.
true wit.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah. You're exactly right. Also tonight, Bill Clinton. And I've heard a lot of people talking about how Bill Clinton is, not what he used to be. And because of his, because of his reputation,
The Epstein
that
and everything
yeah,
else,
that
yeah.
he's more of an anchor and a problem for the party than a positive. I don't agree with any of that. I think that Bill Clinton is, he is still very popular on the left. I think it was very smart of them to put Barack and Michelle Obama on Tuesday,
Right?
Because if you put them too close to Kamala, then they could really they could really steal the show. So I think that I think
And the storyline is Kamala does not like, or let me put it this
Yeah.
way, Michelle does not like Kamala.
well, I don't think anybody likes anybody in that Democratic Party.
That might be the reason that she was not there, because she knew Michelle was going to be there.
Yeah, but what do you think of specifically Bill Clinton tonight and his impact on motivating voters that are left leaning? Does he still connect? Does he still
I
resonate?
don't think he's going to turn any of them off. I don't know it's going to solidify any of them that are. It's amazing to me at this point, how many people are still undecided.
Mm.
And there were some snapshots of people in the convention last night that were seemingly tuned out, even when Obama was speaking. Michelle got a little bit more because she kind of got them raising a chant and so forth. They really, it'd be interesting with Clinton tonight. I'm like you. I don't think he's lost his appeal with the party base.
Yeah.
But the party base is not what it was when he was in
That
the
is
office
correct.
either.
That is correct. And also I think that then we've mentioned this a couple times this week as well. As we talked about with Obama being on Tuesday and not Wednesday, as to not overshadow Kamala on Thursday. But I still think with the Obamas on Tuesday and Bill Clinton on Thursday, I think it could backfire on the Democrats, even with their own base going, because Obamas are still wildly, wildly popular. And Bill Clinton is still a big name and popular, to go from, man, look where we were, and now look where we are.
That's off the cliff.
I think it could
Off the
backfire.
cliff.
I think
Yeah.
it could backfire because the
That's good.
talent, it's like they're sitting there at that convention, and those delegates and those voters and the people, the liberal voters watching, man, our party used to have some talent and now it doesn't.
And last night, J.B. Pritzker slapped the entire audience in their face, and they laughed. They didn't get it. He was talking about how Trump claims he's really rich. He said, you need to hear from a real billionaire. I'm a real billionaire. And they all laughed.
Congratulations.
And he's knocking the people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Saying, look what I am and you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, there was a lot from last night that I want to dig into, and I've got some sound, some highlights, if you will, from last night, and we will recap what happened at the DNC.
Tell the
last
thrower
night.
hello for me,
Yeah,
and if Susie's on later today, tell her hello. They're both great analysts.
Absolutely. We will talk to Missouri State Senator Nick Schroer in just a moment. Larry Connors, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
For stopping in today.
Thank
and
you.
Of course, Larry will be back at 6 p.m., 6 to 8 every night here on News Talk STL. Larry Connors,
and
USA.
Starting a week away, Monday, Jamie Allman will be following me.
Following at 8 o'clock. Exactly right, Larry. Thanks again for your time this afternoon. And we will talk to Senator Nick Schroer next here on Colombo Company.
She's gone to the other side.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
If you have a pest issue at your home, or you just want to prevent one from happening, there is one team to call that stands above the rest, and that is the team at All Solutions Pest Control. Christine and I, for years, our entire marriage, have been big believers in having a pest control service at our home, mostly because of that preventative, that protection aspect. We don't want to have a pest issue. Of course, if you do have a pest issue, All Solutions can take care of it for you. We keep All Solutions at the house all year round because every season comes with its own unique pest problems. But right now, we're still in the summertime. We still got a lot of nice days and being outside and things like that. And you don't want your good time, or the kids playing outside, or you're barbecuing outside, to be ruined by mosquitoes or ants or anything else like that. And that is why All Solutions Pest Control is such a great service that we rely on all year long at our home. And right now, you can also take advantage of their $67 introductory special. So a perfect time of the year, not only to have All Solutions and that protection, that shield around your home, but you can also take advantage of this incredible offer, $67 introductory special right now at All Solutions Pest Control. Learn more about that special and everything they can do for you in your home at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
No matter how big the event, Capriotti's can take care of all of your business or personal catering needs. With party trays, box lunches, a meatball bar, shareable salads, plus desserts and sides. Easy ordering is available via the Capriotti's app. Check it all out at capriottis.com.
Calling all Patriots. Join us for an unforgettable evening celebrating America's greatness at the Patriots Banquet. Honor our veterans, support our first responders, and meet Hollywood tough guy Marshall Teague, the infamous Jimmy Reno from Roadhouse. September 7th at 333 Vineyard in Washington, Missouri. Tickets include dinner and open bar. Upgrade to VIP for exclusive cocktails with Marshall. All proceeds support the Washington Guard's emergency response efforts. Reserve your spot now at thewashingtonguard.com.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show. From national headlines to things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define. Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
I told the world one day I would pay it back. Say it on tape and lay it, record it so that one day I can play it back. But I don't even know if I believe it when I'm saying that. Y'all starting to creep in every day, it's just so gray and black. Oh, I just need a red act, cause no one sees my vision when I play it for them. They just say it's whack, but they don't know what dope is. And I don't know if I was awake or asleep when I wrote this. All I know is you came to me when I was at my lowest. You picked me up, breathed new life in me. I owe my life to you before the life of me. I don't see why you don't see like I do.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 News Talk STL. We are going to be joined by Missouri Senator Nick Schroer in just a moment. Also, this afternoon, as we will be previewing tonight's DNC and recapping last night and going through all of the other news of the day, we're also going to have a little bit of fun as we do every Wednesday afternoon and open up Close's cabinet just after 3 o'clock and talk to our buddy Mark Close from KC95. Also, don't forget that we put this show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day, and we put it on basically every podcast platform. So if it's the best way to make sure that you never miss anything that happens here on the show, all these great conversations, wherever your favorite place to get podcasts is, just make sure that you are subscribed to Colombo and Company, and you'll never miss anything that happens here on the show. All right, as I mentioned, Nick Schroer, Missouri Senator Nick Schroer, is with us on the line. Nick, hey yo, how are you on this busy day?
Another one for the good guys.
Did you I'm feeling my my ability to watch the Democratic convention. I feel the motivation leaving me. I watched quite a bit on Monday. I watched less last night. It was a bit more of a struggle, and tonight I am definitely not looking forward to spending much time, not playing with my kids and watching the Democrats again. How have you? Have you been watching it at all? What's been your experience with this convention to this point?
God's honest truth. I feel the same way, and I watched as much of the RNC that I could, and it was energizing, and it was refreshing to see a slew of different types of people: men, women, tattooed, not tattooed, young, old, rich, poor, union members, all different types of people that were coming together, talking about ideas on protecting our security, protecting our constituents, bringing us in the right direction as a country, putting us on the right track again. And, the past couple of days, just tuning into this demonic national convention as they have the St. Louis murder bus outside provided by Planned Parenthood, providing vasectomies and abortions like it's the price is right, go and spay and neuter your Democrats. It's been infuriating because all they're doing is attacking Trump. It sounds like 2016 again with Russia. And yeah, to your point, it's frustrating hearing the same thing from these people that are very political in the fact that they say, oh yeah, here's the policies that are going to save America. It's going to save babies. It's going to save the future of America. And what have they done? They've torn us down. They've caused inflation. They've caused damn near World War III. And I think, I haven't drank alcohol in weeks. And I think tonight I'm gonna have to pour myself a hard, stiff whiskey and get ready for Sunday's show, Stand and Fight.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that Planned Parenthood stunt up, because it is still being reported, and by media, national media, and people on the right, because this is how good Planned Parenthood and the left and the mainstream media is at hiding things. We talked to our friends at Thrive. Thrive, they have their St. Louis branch, and we've done a lot of work with them, Women's Clinic Thrive, but they are Thrive is nationwide, or at least in multiple other states, not just here in Missouri. And the Thrive team went to Chicago, to the DNC yesterday, and set up their van and their table and everything right outside that Planned Parenthood area in order to try to have a conversation and, talk about what's going on. And it was promoted by Planned Parenthood that they were giving away free abortions, which is, how gross is this? Free abortions, free vasectomies. And they were saying that every time slot had been filled, that it was, that it was so wildly popular that every time slot had been filled. So Thrive goes up there to witness it and be there to cover it and talk about it. And there was nobody. It was all a lie. The plan, they were there, but the appointments weren't happening. The line of people out the door to take advantage of it wasn't happening. And I still hear people talking about it like it did happen, and it didn't. So it goes to show you that you can't trust anything. They will tell you that they're wildly popular and people are lining up to take advantage of these procedures, and it's not the case whatsoever.
Well, Tony, you mentioned how disgusting it is, but just add in the fact also, and I heard Bridget Van Means on with Mike Ferguson, with you guys, with Tim Jones. Bridget Van Means is a friggin' rock star. What they do out there, her and Levi and all the rest of the crew.
That's
are
who called
phenomenal.
us from. It was Bridget who was there for Thrive yesterday, and she was the one that
add
called
in the fact that they're taking lives and giving you I got to watch my words because I almost said a bad word, a friggin' hot dog. A hot dog coupon.
I know.
After you either get your own little tubes tied or you murder your child.
How gross is that?
It is gross. I mean, lips and you know what? That's the perfect meal after you become a whatever.
I am a probably the only pro-choice host on the station, and I know that's been a problem, and I've had a lot of very intense conversations about that. But I've always been very much for a very restrictive, 8-week, 10-week, heartbeat bill, whatever you want to call it, to get rid of, late term, partial birth, all these restricted, or these non-restricted, restriction-free, I should say, laws that have been passing, that Democrats have been, endorsing and passing in states across the country. But I like, it's just so gross to me that they're like, it's like a game. It's literally like, come down and for every abortion, you get a free hot dog. I mean, that's literally what they were saying. I mean, how dark is that? How gross is that? And
well, this just goes to show, and I've talked to plenty of people across Missouri, not just in my district, but across Missouri and even across America, going to a lot of these different conferences. Tim Jones and I, we go to ALEC conventions, and I know we're going to be down in Texas for the Freedom Caucus in September. But you have this sense coming from average people, that not even just Republicans, but just people with common sense that can blatantly see there is a battle going on in America right now, good versus evil. There is a demonic force that is, promoting the mutilation of minor children, the ability for men to walk into a ladies' restroom or a woman's bathroom. And, look at this late term abortion that's going to be.
Hey everybody, Tim Walls.
That's my fault. Sorry about that.
I don't want to hear Tim Walls.
It's Tim Walls.
But
yeah, can you turn me down over there?
And I've got an interesting story about Tim Walls, too, another lying Democrat that claims that he and his wife were using IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Yeah.
And that's coming out that he's a liar. But, going back to how disgusting the left has become, now they're celebrating what's going to be on our ballot in November, and that's unrestricted abortion at any point in the pregnancy, using our tax dollars. That's language that's in the bill as well, to fund these murderous institutions. So, this is what the Democrats have become. And it's no surprise that now that you have talks of RFK, who, even though I disagree with him on guns, and I disagree with him on taxation, and I disagree with him on 85% of his policies, at least he's recognized that the Democrat Party has gone the way of the Marxists, now with rent controls, price caps, and federal housing zoning regulations, having the feds come in to do housing zoning, planning and zoning. He's even recognized it. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of days or weeks if he resigns and says, look, I'm not going to run anymore and I'm backing Trump. That's the talk of the town right now.
Yeah.
But it's evident in this DNC, this demonic national convention that we're seeing. This isn't the party of JFK anymore. This isn't the party of my grandparents and aunts and uncles. It's not the party of the working class. This is a party of Marxists and demonic forces.
It's not the party of the Union Democrats that I grew up with in North County. It's not even the party of, Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Manchin, who I have a lot of opposition. I'm in opposition to many things that they stand for, but they are, reasonable people. And listen, there's plenty of bad politicians on the right. So it's not like the swamp doesn't infect, all sides. But you cannot look at this Democratic Party right now, especially since it's under the spotlight this week with the convention happening, and not just look at this crew of corrupt, elite, hateful, and unqualified leaders at the top of
and
the
out of
Democratic
touch.
Party.
I think completely out of touch. When
Perfect. Yeah.
You go through Ferguson, Florissant, where you and I grew up, and 20 years ago, it was Democrat area, very blue, and to a certain extent, it still is very blue. But a lot of those people have moved out into St. Charles County, and these are people who will adamantly tell you, yes, they grew up voting for Democrats. They grew up thinking that the Democrat Party was the ones fighting for the middle class, and that is not the case. And arguably, I don't think it's ever been the case, but it's more glaring now than ever. And you look at the people that they paraded on stage, all of these different billionaires telling us how, Donald Trump's so bad, he's greedy. Well, how many houses does Bernie Sanders have? How many houses does Big Mike, Michelle Obama, and Barack Obama have? 3 different mansions all over the place, and they're going to ridicule us about fossil fuels and Green New Deals. Like, come on. And I'm hoping that the majority of Americans can see through this garbage. When Chuck Schumer gets up there touting all of these things that, he's been in office since the day I was born and hasn't gotten any of these damn things done. Like, it's just so crazy that the Democrat Party is now full of lies and hypocrites, and the media won't even cover it. That's the frustrating thing. I mean, case in point, and I'll end on this note, case in point, you look at the media coverage and the same exact news anchors when it came to Donald Trump's no tax on tips. You had CNN, MSNBC attacking him, saying that this is only going to help his rich donors. It's only going to help billionaires, which I don't see any billionaires working for tips.
What billionaire is working on is living off of tips?
None of them. None of them. But months later, when Kamala comes out plagiarizing that same thing, there's no mention that it's Trump's policy. There's no mention that he's plastered it all over every single marketing machine, whether it's airplanes, trucks, everything. And now suddenly they're for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was that when it was $25 minimum wage to work at McDonald's? That lunacy. Where was something that would have real impact, that makes sense, that could happen right now to help so many, low income or, people just starting out in the workforce or trying to get a second job to pay the bills? The no tax on tips. It seems like a slam dunk, especially if you are supposed to be the party that is, for the common man, for the working person. And yet that doesn't become a talking point or a policy until Donald Trump brings it up. Real quick, before we take another quick break, can you stick around and do do another segment with us, Nick?
Absolutely. We're going to stand and fight.
Yeah, I love it. I did want to talk about the DNC last night and what we've been, there's so much other things happening. And since you mentioned this, I was going to bring this up later in the show, but you mentioned RFK a minute ago, and you mentioned the talk of the town is the possibility of RFK and his vice president running mate, Nicole Shanahan, possibly uniting with Donald Trump and the Republicans. And I don't know, that feels to me like that could be a big deal. If RFK is commanding, I think like on the low end, most polls would say maybe like 7-8%, on the high end, 15%. I mean, if that's the truth, let's just call it 10% of the vote, and that would shift, over to either party. I think that's a big deal. And Nicole Shanahan, who is RFK's vice president running mate, talked about this today in an interview, and talked about how it's the Democrats that have kept them out of debates and have not allowed for a free election, and the Republicans are the ones that have been open to debating RFK and letting their platform be out there. And so they said she said that she would support the idea of RFK, partnering up or being a part of the Trump team. What do you think about is that realistic, do you think? And B, how much impact would it have if it did happen?
I think it's very realistic. I think, the relationship that Trump has had with RFK, like many people who've been involved in politics. I mean, he's a successful businessman. He's had friends on both sides for many years. RFK has been one of them, even though they disagree on a lot. That I think is very realistic. I think the fact that RFK is seeing how corrupt the Democrats are, how they pushed out Bernie Sanders, how they're pushing out RFK when there is a huge support team and consensus behind them. And, even the Republicans are saying, I've heard countless Republicans saying, yeah, let them debate. Come on up. We want more voices. But do I think it's going to have an impact? I think minimal. I see, certain races like the congressional race here in the state of Missouri for replacing Blaine Luetkemeyer. You had Justin Hicks, who was a state rep. He got out late in the game, about a month or 2 months left in the race. He got out, fully supported Bob Onder, but yet you still had people voting for him. So I don't know if people are going to pay attention to it. I don't know if people are going to, go hook, line, and sinker with what RFK is asking them to do, and that's hopefully asking them to do, supporting Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, or people just going to be tuned out and still vote for him. I think you're going to have all of the above. I think it's going to be a minimal impact, but I think the thing that we need to understand here, no red wave. Get that the hell out of your mind. There's going to be no wave. So start talking to your friends, talk to your family, talk to everybody that you can, not necessarily about, hey, I'm voting for Trump, end of story. Talk about the policies that Kamala is pushing out, Marxist policies that even New York Times authors are saying are going to be bad for this country, and talk about the things that Trump has done in the past and what he will do, like securing our border, plain and simple.
That is Missouri Senator Nick Schroer, who you can, of course, hear every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Stand and Fight here on News Talk STL, and he is sticking around to continue the conversation. Want to get your thoughts, Nick, on some of the things that were said last night during night 2 of the convention, and preview tonight a little bit, specifically Bill Clinton and some of the other big name speakers that will be at the convention tonight. So we will continue the conversation with Senator Schroer next here on Colombo and Company.
Follow Tony Colombo on Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk.
I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Dr. Randy Tobler, along with daughter Sammy Tobler-Gregory, a team member here at our family-owned Body of Health Direct Primary Care Practice. Sammy, what are patients telling you about their experience at Body of Health?
I can't tell you how many patients I've had come to me and tell me they just so appreciate getting to sit across the table with their doctor and chat about whatever's going on with their healthcare needs for however long they need.
Want to learn more about healthcare the way it ought to be? Schedule a discovery call at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
So you want to know one of the best things about Michael's Flooring Outlet? It's that they're a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. So you know you can count on them. I've used Michael's and I had a great experience with them from start to finish. And if you want variety, well, Michael.
Tim Jones here for my favorite St. Louis Sports Bar and Grill experience, the go-to spot of Johnny's Hideout. Johnny's Hideout featuring over 40 big screen TVs to watch all the great games this college and NFL season. Awesome food specials every single day that I absolutely love. Bike nights, classic cars on Wednesdays, live music every weekend, and a fantastic time to visit the gorgeous Sunset Patio. Located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. onwards. All the information you need to know at jhideout.com. That's jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Standing in the rain with his head hung low. Couldn't get a ticket,
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 News Talk STL. We'll have a little fun, open up Closest Cabinet, talk to our buddy Mark Close from KC95, and Skip Weber from Weber Chevrolet at 3 o'clock. But right now, we continue the conversation with Missouri Senator Nick Schroer. And Nick, for the sake of time, I'm not going to play the quote unquote highlights from last night, but I am going to touch on a couple of the things that we heard yesterday, and I want to get your thoughts on them. Bernie Sanders spoke yesterday and his last night, and his message was very big government. He talked about how government needs to be expanded in basically every area, that the people, the voters, are looking to their government for help, and the government needs to be there for them. Obviously things like free health care and student loan debt forgiveness and no evictions. He said, the quote, "When the will is there, the government." Where I lost it. Anyway, that the government can deliver. That's what it is. Quote, "When the will is there, the government can effectively deliver for the people." That terrifies me, Nick.
Well, I'll give you another quote. From Ronald Reagan. It's the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." That again, that is illustrating what the Democrat Party is right now. This is the party of totalitarianism, that we know better than you do. We know better in every facet of life. And that's why we need to tax you like crazy, that we need to spend your money, and that the federal government is going to shred the 10th Amendment and the Constitution altogether. But the 10th Amendment, most importantly, which gives a lot of these rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution. The framers sent certain rights to the federal government and said, all the rest come to the people, all the rest go to the states. And when you look at the minimal policies that Kamala Harris has rolled out, she hasn't said much about her policies, other than she's trying to distance herself from the failed policies of her administration that she's been in for 3.5 years. But now she's rolling out things such as gun confiscation. She's going to sign that day one. These price caps, the rent controls. We've seen that in Democrat cities all over America since COVID. Those have failed. They've actually made it to where there's less rental units than before the price caps or the rent controls are put in place. And now they're trying to usher through policies that are going to cost Americans their rights and actually hit them in the pocketbook. And that's going to be the federal government controlling housing, planning, and zoning. It's unfathomable to think that is happening in America right now. But, it's no surprise that Bernie Sanders, an avowed Marxist, is supporting it.
And you work in government, so you see it up close and personal. Is there any entity that you would less want in charge of big things or in your life than the government? Either side of the aisle, by the way. The government is putting your faith in the government is not the answer, and putting the power, giving the power to the government is not only is it ineffective, it's dangerous because you're giving away your freedoms.
Well, I agree with our founders that, look, our government is there to work for the people and protecting their rights and making sure that all of their unalienable rights that they are endowed with by their creator are not being trampled upon by anyone. And, I always tell people on the Senate floor, when we get into arguments about stuff, I go, look, my view of human rights and constitutional rights are mine end where yours begin. I'm going to let you live your life like you want to until it is infringing upon my rights. And that's why I'm standing against certain things like the left trying to inject pornographic materials into my kids' libraries, into their schools. And, you see in California right now, these Marxist policies of taking kids away when parents are saying, no, I'm not going to side with this doctor that is wanting to make millions of dollars off of cutting off their private parts of my kid. And, it's the government knows best mentality again. So yeah, I'm standing with our framers and standing with the Republican Party and saying, no, we need to stand in the way of the government or the Democrats trying to take more control of your rights, more control of your life by expanding government. I think on the contrary, we need to shrink the power of the government and shrink the size of the government and restore those rights, give them back to the people. They know best.
The gaslighting continued last night in a big way. And specifically when Barack Obama was speaking yesterday, he made a reference. He talked about not wanting to go back to a bumbling and chaos. Bumbling and chaos.
Is he talking about Biden?
You would think he's talking about Biden. Are you like? I get it. There's all kinds of names that you can call Donald Trump if you don't like him, but don't talk about bumbling when you just celebrated the service of President Joe Biden, 24 hours ago on that same stage. So that. Also,
which he was bumbling upon. He was bumbling in his speech.
Also, we've heard multiple Democrats this at the convention, but over the last week or so, talking about how the Republicans and Donald Trump will weaponize the courts and that they will implement government overreach to control every aspect of your life. I mean, is that not the definition of gaslighting? Like, did they not hear themselves? And do they think that we are so dumb that we don't know? Like, to say that Donald Trump is going to be the one to weaponize the courts?
And weaponizing the justice system. I forget who the speaker was yesterday. It might have been Kathy Hochul. I don't know. It was some crazy Democrat.
Nobody was listening when Kathy Hochul talked.
Oh, yeah.
That was rough.
It's so hard to listen to. That's the other part of this. When you listen, I forget which Democrat it was where they're trying to say now that the teleprompter broke and he didn't know what to say. So he just kind of stopped in the middle of a speech. And then you had, when they were sending their delegates forward, the governor of Wisconsin either had a brain aneurysm or was drunk off his ass, because you got to go back and look at that video. It is hilarious. They're all wearing their cheese heads. The guy's got to be yoked out of his mind on something. We're going to play that this Sunday. But no, there was somebody saying that Trump's going to weaponize the justice system to come after his political opponent.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there.
That's unbelievable.
I wanted to pull an Elvis Presley when Robert Goulet came on the TV. True story. Elvis Presley shot his TV because he just could not put up with hearing Robert Goulet anymore. I almost shot my damn TV because it's like, do you not understand that's what this administration is doing? That's what has been happening since 2016 when Hillary Clinton was coming after, and the Obama administration were coming after Trump, using everything, throwing the kitchen sink and everything with fake Russian dossiers, spending millions of dollars saying that Russia interfered, that he wasn't a legitimate president. Now they're trying to throw him in prison. When that didn't work, what happened? We saw him almost get his head shot off on live TV. Now they're trying to gaslight us into saying, yeah, that was staged. That was staged. Well, I saw a guy dead on a roof. I saw another guy who lost his life, 2 other people that were injured, and Donald Trump fell to the ground bleeding from his head. I'm pretty sure that happened. But, the gaslighting is all that they have right now because their policies suck.
And I'm going to make we're almost out of time. I'm going to make one final request to both parties. Let's not have any more hip hop artists perform at either convention. When Kid Rock was performing at the RNC and they panned the crowd of old men and women, attempting to bounce around to I Am the Bull God or whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
And then last night with Lil Jon and these
Tony,
85-year-old women in the crowd. Like,
I hate to tell you,
it's not a good look for anybody, guys. It's not a good look for anybody. Let's stop that.
I don't think it's going to stop because you remember the Clinton campaign, the DNC, when they were playing and dancing to the Macarena. That has been burned into my mind.
It's not
like
good for anybody.
You can't get out.
Yeah, not good for anybody. What is good is tuning in every Sunday night, 6 p.m. for Stand and Fight with Missouri Senator Nick Schroer. Nick, thanks as always for your time this afternoon. We'll dive back into some of this news a little bit later. But first, we got to open up Close's Cabinet next on Colombo and Company.
Attention St. Louis. The Republican Central Committee invites you to the annual Lincoln Reagan Days dinner. Join us Saturday, October 5th at the River City Casino for an evening of inspiration and insight with this year's special keynote speaker, J.J. Carell, retired U.S. Border Patrol, who served under Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. Don't miss this opportunity to hear from a true expert in border security. For details and tickets, visit newstalkstl.com.
For over 50 years, Di Gregorio's Italian Market has been serving up a taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family-owned and operated, nestled in the heart of the hill. From homemade sausage and meatballs to spadini, pizzas, pastas, and sauces, our wide variety of Italian specialties will transport your taste buds straight to Rome. For a truly authentic Italian shopping experience, visit your friends at Di Gregorio's. Shop local, shop Di Gregorio's Italian Market, where every bite tells a story.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL on a Garage. And we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Donald Trump and running mate J.D. Vance speaking today at a huge rally in Asheboro, North Carolina. For Mr. Trump, his first outdoor appearance since that assassination attempt last month in Pennsylvania. Today, he commented on the Biden-Harris foreign and economic policies.
And what happened to our country with inflation and with disrespect from all over the world, and all these wars are starting all over the place. And we're very close to a third world war, and don't kid yourself, because they are laughing, but they're not laughing too much. You're a little worried about a certain person winning the election. We had some very good polls today.
And he quickly adds he will beef up the military.
So after years of horrific depletion with the comrade, sending our missiles and airplanes, ammunition to other countries, I will make a historic investment in rebuilding the U.S. Armed Forces. I did that once before, but I have to do it again because they've depleted it, just like they've depleted the strategic oil reserves, you know.
ABC News today reporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will drop out of the race by the end of this week. It adds Kennedy is, quote, leaning toward endorsing Donald Trump. Also, at townhall.com, Republicans calling on the Supreme Court to block 40,000 people in Arizona from voting in November.
The Republican National Committee is urging the Supreme Court to intervene in an Arizona election dispute this week and block up to 40,000 of the state's registered voters from casting ballots in the presidential race. Republican state lawmakers said that these voters did not provide proof of their citizenship when they were registered, and now they should be barred from voting in person or by mail. The fast-track appeal may signal whether the conservative court is ready to intervene in partisan election disputes. The Arizona Republicans asked for a decision by Thursday because counties will soon begin to print ballots. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
You just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. It's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Hear that? The sound of water being poured on 800-degree rocks. If you were here in this sauna, you'd be so hot you wouldn't have the energy to move. But you're not here. Because you're Your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. Besides, after a long ride, a helmet sweat is way more satisfying. So if you ride, switch to Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, without even breaking a sweat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Little cloud cover will give way to some sunshine by this afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 70s. Nice and cool and dry. Skies clear out this afternoon and into tonight. Morning lows tomorrow in the 50s and a high temperature in the low 80s. Then the heat and the humidity build back up as we head into the weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert Meteorologist Kent.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Live and local.
Welcome home. And whoosh, sitting in traffic, stuck in a jam, and being entertained by Vic and Thunder Stealing Kent.
This is News Talk STL.
So you want to know one of the best things about Michael's Flooring Outlet? It's that they're a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. So you know you can count on them. I've used Michael's and I had a great experience with them from start to finish. And if you want variety, well, Michael's has that. They've got carpet, they've got hardwood, they've got laminate and ceramic tile, they've got luxury vinyl, natural stone, and lots of other options for you to choose from. Plus, with Michael's, you know your installation will be done right the first time because you're hiring them. You're hiring the experts at Michael's, not just some subcontractor. And the best combination ever is that with Michael's, you get to save money and you get that high quality you know you can count on. So shop in store at one of their 3 locations, on Olive and Creve Coeur, on Town Square in Darting Prairie, or on Main Street in St. Peters. Or you can shop at home. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Fox News commentary.
Joe Biden's farewell speech was angry, divisive, and way past his bedtime. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
PNC officially put Joe out to pasture, and to add insult to injury, they did it way past his bedtime. Monday night marked Joe's swan song before his friends in the Democrat Party officially sent him to the glue factory. They didn't even have the decency to do it during Joe's typical waking hours of 10 to 4. They made him give his speech at 11:25 p.m. Eastern, way past his bedtime. For that reason, I almost felt badly for Joe. That was until he started speaking and repeating his same old tired, untrue lines. He had the audacity to reference January 6th, even as pro-Hamas protesters ripped down barricades right outside the convention. He also repeated his same old tired line about Charlottesville and lied about Trump's comments on the matter. He yelled his way through much of his speech in typical dark Brandon fashion. It's no wonder the Democrat Party put him on stage late into the evening. He ruined their vibe. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.
Welcome back to Colombo Company on 101.9 News Talk STL. This song is selected by Stell Babe. Stell from Mike Ferguson in the Morning. He, every week, selects the opening song for Close's Cabinet, which we open now with our buddy Mark Close from KC95. Marker, how are you?
I'm doing well, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. And also, Close's Cabinet brought to you by Weber Chevrolet, and Skip Weber is with us as well. Skip, how's it going?
Going great. How you guys doing?
Doing good. What do you think of Manfred Mann? What do you know? And the famous line that doesn't say what everybody thinks it says. Skip?
Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't written that way.
Right. Go ahead, Skip.
Unfortunately, it kind of does say it. It's the way they pronounced it. They didn't like the way it sounded because they changed the line. It's supposed to be cut loose like a deuce.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about a car,
Mm-hmm.
and the way they pronounced it, it sounds like a feminine. And they said wrapped up like one. Sounds like a feminine hygiene product. And they didn't. They
And that is the
decided
most
not to
famous
change it.
line of the song.
Yeah.
That's what is
Yeah.
the most known. At least I think, Mark, the most known thing about the song is that lyric, right?
Well, and it was a Bruce Springsteen song. Bruce released it. It didn't do much. Man for Man got a hold of it. It went to #1 for them. And what they're saying, the lead singer is a guy named Chris Thompson, who also had a band called Night later on, a couple of hits from Night. He'd played with Alan Parsons, Jan Hammer. He's done everything. And whatever anybody tells you, he 100% absolutely knew what he was saying. He knew what he was saying.
That's right.
He knew it, and he took it to the bank, and it worked for him. So you can.
They told him to change it. The record company told him to change it, and they said no. We tried it the other way. We don't like the way it sounds. It's either a hit or it's not. We're not changing.
Yep. And it goes to #1.
Go on, Mark.
Yeah, and I was going to say they also did a version of Spirits in the Night by Bruce, which sounds totally different than the Bruce version. So whenever Man for Man would take a song from somebody else and put their spin on it, it sounded just like Man for Man and his Earth Band. That's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and they did I Came for You too, also by Bruce.
Yeah.
They covered 3 Springsteens, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, or actually maybe even a couple months ago, because I had that request for the Andy Pratt Avenging Annie in there.
Oh yeah.
And we did, and this, when Bruce released this was the very first single he ever released. It wasn't the first one he wrote, but it was the first single he released. They did not have put it on. They did not have a B-side from his Greetings from Asbury Park album. So they put Andy Pratt, Avenging Annie, on the B-side. So it's in my cabin in Tennessee, but I have a 45 with Bruce Springsteen, Blinded by the Light on one side, and Andy Pratt, Avenging Annie on the other side. And I consider it a collector's item. I don't know if anybody else does, but it's kind of cool.
Absolutely a collector's item. You would be hard-pressed to find another single of 45 where you have 2 different artists on, one on each side. You've got, man, that is absolutely a collector's item, Skip. Absolutely.
And I love those stories about songs that were, there's a lot of songwriters out there, famous, songwriters, but when a bona fide superstar like Prince, wrote a bunch of songs for other people and had plenty of hits, obviously, on his own, and Springsteen's like that. I love that, how a hit song can break through and be a hit for one artist or one band and not work for another for some reason. I just, like that, just the way that works is interesting and cool to me. I'm talking about? Like,
I think it's a question of timing.
Yeah.
More than anything else. If Springsteen had already been, classic rock stations play Springsteen's versions now because he became a star. And I love the lyrics of his better. It's not quite as catchy. It is not single length. Not radio friendly play is more verses and but like the lyrics better. Matter of fact, I had a friend of mine one time tell me, I heard this stupid cover of Man for Man the other day. It was Springsteen. And no, sir, that's the original.
Yeah. What's another example of that? Like, can you think of any, like a big example of the song coming out by the original artist, but afterwards, where people think that the person, like, All Along the Watchtower.
Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, that's the first one that pops in my head. Yeah. What were you thinking, Mark?
Couple of big ones. George Harrison, his last #1 song was "I Got My Mind Set on You." That's not his tune. That's a cover tune. I Love Rock and Roll, Joan Jett, not her song.
Yep.
It's a cover
Correct.
song.
Yeah.
There are
Yep.
a million covers out there that people just don't realize. And for whatever reason, the Locomotion, which was written by Carole King, has gone to number one 2 times and in the top 10 3 times. Grand Funk, Carole King, and Kylie Minogue all had hits with it.
Yes.
And Carole, to Carole King, she wrote it and gave it to her housekeeper, and that's who went to number one with it.
Yeah, REM,
Wow.
one of my favorite bands of all time. Their song "Superman" is not their song. It's it's the one REM song that you'll every now and then hear in advertising because they're one of the bands that have never allowed their songs to be used in commercials, but that song does pop up sometimes, and they've been attacked in the past by music journalists saying, "Hey, I thought you were never going to let anybody use your music and ads," and they had to say, "Well, we don't. That's not ours."
Well, and then sometimes you got songs that are popular, that are big hits on it, like "Proud Mary" was a huge hit for both groups, the original and then I Cantina were great too.
Yeah.
So you have stuff like that. Metallica's "Turn the Page" in the heavy metal era. It was really popular, and of course Seeger was a giant hit. So you get a few of those too.
Yeah, super cool stuff. We are talking to Skip Weber from Weber Chevrolet and Mark Close from KC95, Closest Cabinet here on Colombo and Company. And we also, gentlemen, have a couple of ladies in the room that I want to bring into the conversation here. We have producer Emily and producer Cheyenne. And, we've always got these, we know how in tune with the younger generation and how Mark basically lives his life on the internet and on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And so, so we're always keeping an eye on all these social media trends and surveys and things like this. This one, I have an opinion on. I don't know why. I don't know what sparked this survey needing to be done, but the answers are interesting. There was a survey done asking people if they wash their feet in the shower. Is that a thing to not wash your feet in the shower? Because 37% of Americans, apparently, according to this survey at least, 37% of people don't wash their feet in the shower. Skip, I'll start with you because that's a long way to go for you. You've got to go the longest distance to wash your feet. What do you?
Let me just tell you something, okay? So every house I've ever owned, I've made sure the shower was big enough for me to have either you built in the shower a little seat or there's little bamboo stools that you can sit on that I can wash my feet. I cannot stand it, as much as we travel, we do travel a lot and it's hard to do sometimes, but I hate it when I'm in a hotel in the little shower and I can't do it. I have to maybe balance on one leg. I cannot do a good job of it. I know people don't do it because that's why people's feet smell so bad. It's like the worst smelling part of feet. I know that they sweat inside a shoe and everything, but if you put a sock on, it shouldn't be. I'm just telling you, it's why it's bad. And I refuse to be the stinky foot person in the room. I scrub my feet every day, make sure that they're very clean.
Yes, yeah, and this won't surprise anybody that knows me, being a germaphobe and OCD and all that. I like between the toes, like it's like a, every inch, so it's to me, I was shocked that this was even a question. Mark, how are your feet?
Well, fine, thanks for asking. But if you think about it for a minute, you're in the shower, okay? And you have soap, so you get all soaked up. You have shampoo on your head, so the shower hits, and gravity takes all that water and soap down kind of over your feet, doesn't it? I mean, it's going to work its way down there eventually.
No, I don't know.
I've heard that excuse for every body part that, if it just all washes down. So
You
Well,
got to scrub.
I mean, there's some areas you got to work on to get to. I get it. But I mean, gravity is going to work. The soap and water ain't going up. It's going down.
Yeah, but it's not, you can't just, if you just pour soap on a stain, it doesn't clean the stain. You have to wash.
If you had a very serious cut on your foot,
yes.
would you and it needed to be cleansed every day, would you just would you let gravity
right. Or would you wash it?
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder
just
how
saying.
big your guys' feet are. Yeah, holy cow. It's like, God. Yeah.
Well, but they're great. Mine aren't bad at all because I wash them.
Yeah,
I wash them.
Cheyenne, with your thoughts. I thought if anybody, it might be the this side of the room that would be maybe guilty of not washing feet. Is it even? Is this even Is it a no brainer that you should be washing your feet?
In my opinion, a loofah or African net sponge always needs to be involved. Get the dead skin off, get the stank off, invest in your health and the health of your skin.
How often do you have to recycle the loofah?
I throw mine in the wash
sometimes
every week.
As the dad of daughters, I've seen loofahs turn where they're not, they don't look like looks like they're backfiring after a certain moment of their life.
Yeah, absolutely not. That you're just recycling the bacteria that's on there if you do that. Pretty much.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I got to tell you, at my age, I'm trying to keep all the skin on my body I can. I ain't in no position to lose it. I just, it's whatever there. I'd like to stick around for a while. Just saying.
So you think you might lose your toes if you wash them? Is that what you're saying?
No, but if you're talking about the young lady with the loofah and all this dead skin coming off, it's just like, holy moly cats. It's like,
holy moly
my
cats.
hair's already falling out. So what next? So,
all right. Well, sounds like Mark is not quite on board. Maybe you're in the 37%. But that number is alarmingly high, right? 37%, almost 40%.
But it's not. It's alarmingly high, but not surprisingly high. Like I said, that's the stinkiest part. I'm telling you, people take their shoes off, and like you walk into a room. If 5 people take their shoes off to relax, I would say at least 2 of them have really stinky feet because they don't wash them enough.
Not me. Almost out of time. Marker, anything happening with the band? Man, we've gotten some weather, good, the cool weather that we've had the last few days for August in St. Louis has been pretty amazing. It is a great time to get out there. Is the band playing any gigs out and about anytime soon?
Yeah, we're going to be Saturday night. We're going to be at the Alton Marina in beautiful Alton, Illinois, right there on the river. We're going to be playing Saturday night from 7 until 10. It is open to the public. It is free. There's going to be a taco truck there. We're going to rock and roll from 7 to 10. And again, when it's free, we offer a money-back guarantee. So come on over. If you don't like it, whatever you paid, you'll get back. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's an awesome
Give
area.
double back.
There you go. Yeah.
Give it double back.
Hey,
you really get some people if you offer double back.
Yeah, maybe we need to pass out some loofahs too. Yeah, at least bring one to Mark.
That's right. Yes.
Skip, I can't believe it that there's only 10 days left in August. I can't believe we're going to be talking about September very soon. What's happening at Weber Chevrolet? And also, I mean, how's the summer been? We could almost do a summer recap. We're at that point of the year almost.
It's been great. I mean, every month is a new record of vehicle sales since COVID. We've before the 2020 when we had all the inventory problems, we had a lot of months that we sold more than this. But when you look at what's going on, I mean, every month we sell more. We've eclipsed last month's numbers. We will eclipse by the end of the week, unless we just fall off the edge of the earth, last month's numbers already. That's how many. I mean, that's how great sales have been, and it's. There's a lot of it is tied to, our processes that we're doing, but most of it is tied. We've always been very good with customers. Most of it's tied to the inventory. The inventory coming in, all these vehicles hitting the lots. So many of them are things like tracks, Chevrolet is setting records nationally with the track sale. It's one of the best buys out there. Least expensive vehicle, and way better than what you would picture as the least expensive vehicle on the market.
It really is. It's an awesome, like, it's like, even when my oldest daughter, who's now 21 years old, maybe there was a Trax when she was 16 and shortly afterwards, but it wasn't really what it is now. Like, the Trax could be it could be a perfect starter vehicle. It's also the vehicle that my mom drives, and like, I mean, it's
a perfect vehicle. It's a perfect vehicle to save money on gas. It's a perfect vehicle if you don't want something, I have a parking garage and it's just like compact cars, but I actually need a little bit of room that feels bigger on the inside. That's the Trax. It's fun to drive. It's got all the great technology. It's an amazing success story. We get a ton of them in, and they all go out instantly, and that's part of the reason. But it's not the only thing. I mean, the new Traverse is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know you guys have Traverses in the past.
Yeah,
the new one is the best it's been. I mean, Chevrolet is just winning with all these vehicles. We're selling a handful of. There's not as huge a market on that as like in California, but we're selling a bunch of those too.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a ton going out. It's really kind of cool. And of course, our reputation score is still the best in St. Louis, best in about a 500-mile radius. So I'm very, very proud of my guys. I mean, you know me, I'm going out of town half the time anyway. It's not me doing it. It's my people doing it. They're just the best at it.
Yeah. I mean, I can
and so
speak personally to the team at the Creve Coeur location, because that's the one that I always go to for service, and, bought my vehicles from multiple times. I mean, yeah, the service departments, the customer service, Weber Chevrolet, absolutely second to none. And I know that Silverado is always the king, but I'll tell you what, that moving back down to a Colorado was the best decision I ever made. I love my Colorado. I mean, it feels like I've lost nothing from the Silverado, and except it's a little easier to park, particularly parallel park. I can actually do that now, which is nice. So yeah, love it, and I love that the selection is back. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys both
great.
so much, and we will talk to you very soon. Mark Close and Skip Weber, Closest Cabinet here on Colombo and Company. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and we will roll on. Before we hand things over to the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show, we've got to jump back into the headlines and preview some of what is to come tonight, day 3 of the Democratic National Convention, and also some other things happening in this crazy world at this crazy time, and we'll tell you all about it when we get back here to Colombo and Company next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
If you have an electrical need at your home or business, whether it be a electrical problem or you just have a project that you have in mind, Grasser Electric is the team to call for all of it. They specialize in all electrical needs, ranging from large-scale commercial projects all the way down to a simple home service like replacing a bad light switch. I can personally attest to how great the team at Grasser Electric is. We have had them in our home multiple times over the last couple of years for various different types of projects, and they have knocked it out of the park every time they have been at our house. The techs are just awesome. They're friendly. They're professional. They're fast. They leave the area that they're working on better looking and cleaner than the way that they found it. And the work is absolutely second to none. And, when it comes to electrical work, that is something that you don't want to be messing with. You want to make sure that you have somebody that you not only knows what they're doing, but that you trust to be able to, tell you exactly what's going on and what goes into whatever need or project you have. And that is exactly what you get when you work with the team at Grasser Electric. They offer free quotes on new projects. So if you do have a plan, you can talk to Grasser, figure out exactly what the best options, the best ways forward are for you, your home, your business, your budget. And it costs you nothing to get armed with that peace of mind and that information. They also offer 24-hour emergency services because Grasser Electric doesn't want anyone ever to be left in the dark. So if you have an electrical need or project coming up at your home or business, call Grasser Electric now. You can call them at 636-441-5200 or just go to grasserelectric.com.
John Beal knows it right after a hailstorm. New roofing companies start popping up everywhere. But the Small Business Administration reports 96% of them go out of business within the first 5 years. So how good is that warranty? John Beal started in the roofing business, helping his granddad and his dad. Always offering the best roof, best price, best guarantee. John Beal Roofing, not some fly-by-the-night operation. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Most of us in broadcasting sometimes engage in what is called gallows humor. And sometimes police, fire, medics, hospital staff do the same. Gallows humor, officially described as grim, ironic humor in a desperate or hopeless situation, sometimes called dark comedy, sometimes funny to some extent, sometimes just wrong. Timing is also part of gallows humor. Sometimes laughter will lift the spirits. Other times the joke is too close to the event, or maybe you, to even be funny. On the first night of the Democrat National Convention, Maryland Congressman Raskin tossed out a line, "Hey, J.D. Vance, you almost got a new job because Trump was nearly killed." Now, he said it in different words, but the audience knew what he meant, and most of them laughed. Bill Maher, who has consistently denounced the shooting, just said, "That day was my favorite day of 2024. Now, he admits, "I wouldn't say it if Trump had been killed." Did he forget a father was killed and 2 others injured? Bad timing for gallows humor or just bad taste?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
You want to give someone something which they will really enjoy? Give them a Cafe Napoli gift card. You pick the amount, and they pick which of the Cafe Napolis they want to visit. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Cafe Napoli in Town and Country, Napoli 3 on the streets of St. Charles, or right next door, Napoli C. The Napoli gift card. It's the perfect gift for anyone or your entire office. Cafe Napoli. Cafe Napoli.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Mark Harder, he is running for Missouri Senate District 15. Before I let you go, someone wanted me to ask you about the sign that is next to yours, and it said Harder Daddy.
Some little prankster actually went out and invested about probably $50 in a vinyl banner and hung it next to my sign. So, I guess there's no bad publicity.
Funny. Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4
on News Talk STL.
Loyalty means a lot at Ackerman Toyota. That's why during COVID, Ackerman refused to charge over sticker price, while others did. Ackerman stayed true to their customers, selling at or below manufacturer suggested prices. Ackerman will get you what you want, and the service department has the same spirit. You come first. And thank you for making Ackerman Toyota #1 in 2023. Ackerman Toyota, AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at BluffCityOutdoors.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
Another day and another night of the Democrat National Convention. Are you watching any or all of it?
Larry Connors USA.
Now weeknights 6 until 8
on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. Been a busy show today. We talked to Larry Connors. We talked to Missouri State Senator Nick Schroer. We just talked to Skip Weber and Mark Close and Close's cabinet. And we are going to wrap things up with our good friend Vic Porcelli from the Vic Porcelli Show. Vic, I heard you this morning talking about the DNC and recapping last night. Looking forward to tonight, and we've had a similar conversation throughout the show today. And so I thought it would make for good conversation to have you on today. So I really appreciate a little overtime. How are you, buddy?
You bet, Anthony and Emily. How you doing?
Doing well. Also, Cheyenne is in studio with us. Producer Cheyenne is back. Yeah, she is back from her little sabbatical, and she's in studio with us as well this afternoon. So let's just start right there. I mean, what's your biggest takeaway so far? From we're halfway through. The convention is 4 days long. We've got 2 behind us and 2 coming up. What at this halfway point? What's your biggest takeaway from the DNC?
Well, my first takeaway is I don't know how much more of this I can take. Really. I just can't. It's just too much. But here's the deal. So Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, first of all, when she did her speech and then introduced him, and they do this long, loving hug like they hadn't seen each other in years, and they were both backstage together. They're so fake. But it's like they created the mess that we're in. And they're talking about getting out of this mess. Well, how about getting out of this mess by getting rid of you? How's that sound? You know,
Barack Obama said last night that what they have to avoid is Donald Trump being elected, and his words were to not go back to bumbling and chaos, bumbling and chaos. And if any, I mean. I think even most liberal voters would say if you're going to apply the word bumbling to one politician in America, who would it be? It would clearly be Joe Biden. But we're supposed to believe that the bumbling and the chaos was before this administration that has done so many bad things to this country.
Of course. And, you know, the chaos of low grocery prices, that was great, right? That was good chaos. Gas at $1.81 at the Circle K in Aston, where Kenny lives, that was terrible chaos. I mean, they're what created the chaos, and then we're supposed to think that Donald Trump created the chaos? I mean, even liberals go shopping and fill up their car. I mean, I think people will go vote for Trump and say, oh, no, I'd never vote for him. But they go in there and vote anyway for him because they like paying less for gas and groceries and medicine and rent and everything else.
Vic, we talked about this earlier with Nick Schroer, but I want to get your thoughts on this as a staunch Trump fan and Trump supporter. I thought this was super interesting, and Nick Schroer brought this up. It was already in my notes today, and then he brought it up as well, which shows you how much this is catching on right now. The idea of RFK and his team and his supporters, theoretically, teaming up with Donald Trump and teaming up with the Republicans. A quick story here to kind of tell you fill you in on what I'm talking about. His running mate, Nicole Shanahan, who is RFK's vice president running mate on the independent ticket there, did an interview last night where she blasted Democrats and said that she fully supports a role for Kennedy in a future Trump administration. She said that there has been some, discussion in the media. I know that, Donald Trump he's not said anything, like he's not blasted RFK Jr. He said I don't care if he's in the debate, he's going to lose, but he can be in the debate. And, it was the Democrats that were blocking. And that's kind of what she was saying. Like, it's been the Democrats that have stopped us from being able to participate in what is supposed to be a free and fair election, not the Republicans, and that she would endorse or support the idea of RFK and his team and his platform coming up with some kind of partnership or joining the Trump side in some way. Is that appealing to you at all as a Trump supporter, or is RFK Jr. He's a Democrat at the end of the day, folks? Is that a good or a bad thing in your opinion?
Well, I want to say, I want to start with the caveat of I never thought that RFK Jr. was the guy, okay? Because he's still a Kennedy, he's still a Democrat, he's still a liberal, he's still a little crazy. I mean, by the way, who drops a dead bear in Central Park? But anyway, so I think that
he had some of his brain eaten by a worm, Vic. It's weird.
What'd you say?
He had part of his brain eaten by a worm.
Oh, right. I forgot.
For real.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I think that the percentage of voters that he brings to the table right now, I mean, you remember, Tony, he was up there 12%. He was in double digits for a while. I don't know where he is now, but hoping that percentage would go to Trump instead of going to, Kamala, because RFK saying, hey, it's the Democrats that screwed me, so I don't vote for them, vote for Trump. And then, of course, the exchange is, how about a part in the administration, the cabinet for Donald Trump? Now, wouldn't it be, I don't know what the word is, but wouldn't it be interesting if RFK Jr. got the same job that his father had in his uncle's administration, right? What if he were Attorney General?
Yeah. Would you be? As a Trump, as a Trump fan, if Trump is elected president, would you like to see RFK Jr. on that staff or in the cabinet or somewhere in that administration, or would you rather him be maybe at arm's length?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, can anybody screw anything up worse than Jennifer Granholm or Pete Buttigieg? No.
No.
I mean, look at it that way, one way. Second of all, I think Donald Trump wants to be a man of his word. All right. If he promises him a cabinet position for the percentage of voters that liked RFK Jr., then, make him agriculture secretary or something, something that nobody knows. Who's the agriculture secretary now? Does anybody know? Anyone? No. Okay.
I do not.
So just put him somewhere and you kept your word, and hopefully you get those votes, and we don't have to hear about it anymore, because I'm done with that too. But I want to say that I never thought that RFK was the guy.
Vic, literally 30 seconds, but while we're talking about it, what about Elon Musk? Because that's been another name in the news a whole bunch. What would you be in support of or not? Elon being a part of that.
I'm all for it. All for Elon getting a cabinet post. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like the idea of a department of government oversight or whatever. I can't remember the name of it, but it was to basically rein in government spending would be what Elon Musk's role would be. And I'm not usually for adding positions to government, but that might be one that I would be in favor of. Vic Porcelli, every weekday starting at 9 a.m. here on News Talk STL. Thanks for a little overtime this afternoon, buddy. Great talking with you.
You bet. My pleasure. Anthony and Emily, think about it. Good show.
It's a good one. Thank you.
Yep.
That is Vic Porcelli. Check him out every day, 9 a.m. And just like our podcast, make sure you subscribe to the Vic Porcelli Show podcast so you don't miss anything on that show as well. Emily and I will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. In the meantime, keep it here for the O'Reilly Report next. Then the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss